Welcome to Player Tips. In this video we're going to look at advancement. Okay, so Paul, Ben, advancement in the One Ring comes in two parts basically. You spend your advancement points during a fellowship phase to improve your common skills and your XP. Spend your XP on weapon skills, on wisdom or valor in order to get other benefits around your abilities. So in terms of kind of player choices and complexity, and I guess pace as well when you're a new player, how does it all kind of start to bundle together?
Well, I think it's worth noting that advancement points come more quickly than XP points. So you're going to put your common skills up faster than you are going to be your wisdom and valor, or weapon skills, as you say. And I think, as we observed, there's quite a gradient to the skills. As you get past the 2 or 3 point mark, it becomes very expensive very quickly to increase them.
Yeah, definitely. It's there's a real drop off in pace when it comes through that point, and you have to start having an economy of them and starting to reserve back to buy the next level rather than just being scattergun approach of I'll bump this and I'll bump that and I'll bump the other.
So early game, really important to focus on some key skills. And
yeah, I think the thing I've learned the most from that is, and realised quite late, is there's certain skills in the common skills that you really want to have at least a couple of points in, regardless of what sort of route you're taking. Things like travel are always going to be useful.
I would say travel, law, battle, and whichever other one affect the preliminary rolls is insight. Yeah. And also it's worth looking at your skills for your culture as well, because some of those cultures come with a skill rating already of 3, and when you're creating your character, it's cheaper to invest the freebie points to increase the skills at that point than it is to have to pay them through advancement.
Definitely, because you get that initial kind of bump that will take you down the path that you want to do, and then you can put the first few ones that you're earning into those core ones of travel and battle and insight and stuff. And
if there's any skill where you want to be getting tenguas, and I think combat is really where you kind of want to be getting that for your critical shots or piercing blows or what have you, then it's probably worth going there, because the more dice you roll in, the much greater chance you're going to get rolling a 6 to hit a tengua.
In theory.
Notwithstanding the last combat.
No.
In terms of kind of over the course of a campaign and the fleshing out of a character where you've explored a culture and you've got an idea of the things you want to be able to do you feel like there are enough options there?
Yeah, definitely. I think because as your character develops, there's so many options. You can actually take a different track. Like Sigismund, my character, was very stealth and kind of huntery heavy at the beginning, but through his character development, he's actually now developed an interest in crafting and the lore around runes, and that's meant that although I've kind of filled quite a lot of the slots on hunting, stealth, athletics, I've now got areas to spend my advancement points into those sort of lore and crafting options to actually give a bit more development to the character.
Yeah, and I think the common skills advancement point economy is pretty obvious. You want to be getting those skills higher, those skills that at the tail you're using more that fit to your character. But I find that as I'm looking at the XP spend, it's a real tension between, do I want to get another rank in wisdom or valor, or do I want to up a weapon skill? And quite often I think that you want to up the weapon skill, because I don't think that there's as many kind of options available in wisdom and valor. You've got your cultural virtues, you've got your generic kind of stuff, and sometimes you kind of go, right, I've got the couple I want from that.
Yeah, but then you start to get your masteries and your options to improve your quality. So it's masteries in skills, and then quality improvements in the quality of your weapon. So my bow is now grievous, which means its edge rating's 1 lower.
And there's the adventurer's companion's got expanded masteries as well, so there are a few. I mean, you have to dig around to start looking at all of the various options, but there are a few different things.
Yeah.
It's worth pointing out, I think, that you don't get anything for free in terms of advancement in general.
Yeah.
It's not like I've hit this level, so I've got this new skill. You pay for everything in the one.
Yeah,
ring.
there's the economy of advancement is locked in, and it's very harsh.
Yeah.
At times.
And I find partly about the pace is that you kind of slow your pace down because you're saving.
Yeah.
Because you want the next thing that you're after, so it's like, oh, okay, we did that, but I don't get the adrenaline kick of the reward then. I have to defer it a little bit.
There's it kind of makes the fellowship phase sometimes feel a little bit hollow.
Yeah,
when you're like,
true.
oh, I'm just gonna chill.
I'm gonna play some music with my friends
because I'm staying in tonight on the fellowship phase because I want to save it to go out next week.
Yeah, that's true.
And how about specialising through your skills and your upgrades through your cultural blessings and virtues and things? How do you start to find a kind of, or build on your niche? And what are the pitfalls in kind of spreading yourself too thin, maybe?
If you spread yourself too thin, you're not going to succeed. So when you're going into those really difficult shadow areas as part of your travel, you're going to be hitting a lot of fatigue at the end. Maybe not so many hazards because that's driven by the feat dice, but you're not going to succeed. When you're fighting against those really tricksy enemies where you need to get a wound as well as do their endurance down, you're just not going to get there. It's going to be much, much harder for you. So I think the One Ring is a troop game, and you need to look at everything that each member of that troop brings to the table, and therefore focusing on your niche actually does become important.
Yeah, definitely. It's that. Okay, if we're all kind of okay at everything, then you run the risk of failing those major encounters. Like, particularly, my character has got no conversational skills. It's nothing in that kind of in that tree of talking to people, so I don't. Whereas actually, if we'd all kind of been a bit like, oh, well, I actually want to have a chat occasionally, and I want to do this, and I want to do that, and then you end up with a party of farmers, effectively. If you want to look at it in that respect, everyone's kind of okay, but they're never going to be heroes. They're never got like an area in which they're going to excel and actually fulfill their role in that respect.
Yeah, and I think common skills is where you really get into your niche. I think the rewards from Valor and Wisdom are like the icing on the cake.
Yeah, it's where you start to kind of like put an edge on your spear and kind of like go, actually, I've been really good at these sort of things. Now this is what makes me exceptional. These are what lends me to have those abilities that then like, oh, I am always going to hit twice, or I am always going to have the ability to kind of roll the feat die twice, which ensures that when I do get into battle, for example, the likelihood of me failing is minimised by like 50% because I'm rolling double the dice.
Yeah, and I think that you need to be thinking about what tier of player, what type of encounter am I going to really be contributing to? Is it going to be part of the travel? Is it going to be in the combat? Is it going to be in those talking situations? Because without Seg, we wouldn't be killing anything.
Well,
much.
Last game was an exception, but but then the same way it's that like the situations where like when we went and met Thranduil, and actually, if you hadn't been able to speak his language and hadn't had all those points in the kind of like the courtesy kind of sections, we'd have been screwed. Like, there's no way it'd have like even probably seen us. We wouldn't have even got into the Woodland Realm.
Yeah. Well, we were certainly going to stealthed in with the Astrid anyway.
And then we've got the potential for players to throw bonus dice into their skills when they use skills that involve preliminary rolls. So you've got travel, combat, and encounters where you make preliminary rolls and you get the chance to get bonus success dice that you can use throughout that thing. And the other way of getting bonus dice is through masteries that give you mastery dice. So what for new players, what's the kind of, how much notice should they take of those things, and how much effort should they put into those skills?
Bonus dice, I think, as a new player, are key. They're a really valuable thing to have because you have got such a smaller dice pool to roll. So while you're only got like 2 for travel, anything that would then get you an additional travel dice to then roll during that encounter it's like a huge increase effectively at that level. But as soon as you start getting 3, 4, 5, 6 dice in there, it's getting less important because you can only roll 6 as a maximum. So by the time you've got 5, you kind of like your 2 bonus dice are becoming less important.
But they're important if they're adding to preliminary rolls, because you're going to get additional bonus dice based upon the quality of success you get. And the more dice you're rolling in a prelim roll, the greater your chance of getting a great or an extraordinary success.
That's true.
Particularly if you synergize that with one of the abilities that says, if you get a success, increase its quality by 1.
Yeah, they're crazy. I wish I had some of them.
But then I think there's the mastery dice as well.
Just on the bonus success dice, so something that we just doesn't tend to come up a huge amount because we don't tend to have loads of hazards, but you can use those bonus success dice during any test during that journey or encounter or whatever. So if you're faced with a hazard as a scout and you need to make a search roll or something, you can use those dice in those situations.
Yeah, they definitely have a value, and I do think it does get less as it goes up. They're nice to haves because they're there to kind of pad the situation, and definitely kind of like you say with the ability to kind of start getting multiple ones of them by rolling additional, like by when you get the quality of the success, and then when you throw in the ability like things like the songs and stuff like that, the faster can do to then increase that number further or enable us to get more. They are incredibly useful. Masteries, I think, is probably not something I'd look at early game. I think that's starting to add more value late game when you're effectively getting that option to kind of roll multiple dice and pick the best of your number.
It's like a re-roll, really.
It's just giving you that. It's like going, okay, I need 5 great dice. I get to roll 7 and pick the best 5, and it's just giving you that increased opportunity.
Yeah, but there is an opportunity cost associated to doing that, which means that you are choosing those masteries over and above a reward or a virtue. And I think, again, as you say at the start, you probably want to be getting those rewards and virtues before you get into that more advanced content. And that's all I have, actually.
That's fine. That's good advice. Okay, so bonus dice are worth kind of knowing about and investing in those kind of key skills like travel and insight, and masteries are for a later date probably.
Yeah.
Cool. Okay, so are there any kind of points in advancement that you kind of would like to adapt or tweak or house rule? Is there anything that you kind of feel is ripe for hacking?
I think there's great grounds for homebrewing new rewards or cultural virtues. I think there's quite a bit of opportunity there for that. I think that you need to look at the balance of that as a lore master and decide what you want to do. And I think the easiest way to start that would be to kind of say, well, I know I'm from Rider Rohan, but I've been spending a massive amount of time here in the woodland realm. Therefore, could I spend a point to get one of the woodland cultural virtues or rewards? And you can play that in the story a little bit, but that feels like a good place to start if you feel it's a little bit restricted, isn't hitting your character concept so much.
Yeah, and I think the rule book kind of says you can discuss these things with the lore master. You make an agreement as a group on how that works.
Yeah, I definitely think that that's something that kind of like when you've been playing in a particular region for like quite a long time, like you say, so like we've been in the woodland, we've been in Mirkwood for the entire campaign virtually, barring a few kind of nips out to Lake Town and the likes, just for bread and milk.
And the wine, wine's quite good.
But yeah, it's having those, because like I love the Wild Hobbit character culture. I love the Wild Hobbit culture, but although I can pick from the Hobbit masteries and rewards and virtues as well, they're definitely not necessarily geared towards how my character's developed and how it's playing, and having that ability to cherry pick. Not necessarily. I think stepping into full blown homebrew of kind of just generating stuff off the cuff's probably a little much. Certainly where we are level wise, and certainly as an early game thing. But I think being able to maybe pick from across the board, but just have it be slightly more expensive to buy, or sort of like a little to then improve it costs a little bit more. A bit like, so I have a Hound of Mirkwood, it came through as part of just a role play scenario where I ended up in a bet with a woodman, and that was what he had to put up against the treasure. So thereby, I have a virtue from a reward from a different culture, but it is like a little bit more expensive if I want to improve it, and that's fine. I like that balance of that kind of being able to dip and dive, and I think that gives you a bit more variety in what the options are.
Cool. I mean, just to add, if you've been playing for a while and you want to look at kind of homebrewing some different virtues and rewards and stuff, there is a fan supplement for the One Ring RPG by Robin Smallborough. I don't think that's his real name though. I think it was actually compiled by Robin, and there's a load of stuff in there. I think it's kind of 300 pages long or something. But it includes new cultures, new callings, and new rewards and virtues and things like that. So if that's the thing you're into, I'll link that in the description, and you can go and find that. But that's it in terms of advancement. Hope that was useful. See you.